Morning, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chat. Wow, boy, I'll tell you. So, hey, new cup. My daughter gave it to me. It's kind of like a Star Wars cup. And then apparently, well, what happens is when you put like hot stuff in it, it all lights up. But, when there's nothing in there, you don't see the picture so well because it's heat activated somehow. I don't know how it works, but anyway, it's kind of a cool little thing, that's for sure. Well, guys, what absolutely beautiful day. In fact, we got summer coming on us, and boy, I'll tell you, I love summer as a kid, and who doesn't? But when we were kids, summer meant that you were going outside, you were actually out in nature. We did a lot of camping, fishing, all that kind of stuff. And of course, when my kids were growing up, almost every summer was we had this major camping trip where we would go out to either the mountains in Alberta or BC and stuff like that. And really, it was quite amazing. We had an amazing time doing it. I sure hope that this summer, when you guys that have little ones out there and you got these toddlers or even, adolescent or teenage kids, that you're able to take them out and just go out and enjoy nature. It is something kids absolutely love it. I'm going to tell you what. I love summer camp. I absolutely loved it. I loved doing the canoeing, the archery, and all that jazz. And I'm telling you, summer camp should be a must for every kid because it's just an adventure, to be sure. And really to kind of get yourself unplugged from all this digital stuff. Of course, we didn't have it when we were kids. So we just, that was an adventure. And I always told my children, I said, look, I probably lived a much more adventurous childhood than they did just because, just not being plugged into all this technology and stuff like that and just enjoying what the world had to offer in and of itself in that nature. And I'll tell you, I think getting back to that's going to be a really big plus for a lot of folks, to be sure. Anyway, the article that I was reading this morning was really quite interesting because it was talking about how by 2027 we're going to see the big time closure of about 50,000 stores across the US. And we're not just talking little mom and pop shops. Even a lot of these big box stores are closing. Now, that says quite a lot. A lot of them right now are closing due to this whole, economy the way it is now. But it also shows you that the whole entire marketplace is changing in a big, big way. Now, you think of the spin off ramifications of that. Number one, right off the top, you're talking about the lack of, opportunity choice, in the marketplace. There's only going to be a few of these online retailers, these big, big ones, not just Amazon, but other ones like Costco, Walmart, those ones, Target, that are really going to be out there that are going to get the lion's share of what. And I think in this article, they're saying it's like $268 billion per year up for grabs in market share for these online retailers that are going to kind of come in and scoop up the space. But the thing, too, to think about is this. Look at all the employees that are involved in a lot of these, but I mean, 2027 is not that far off. And think of how that's going to change, the job market out there for a lot of these positions. When you got folks that don't necessarily have a degree or a specialized trade and this and that, but are absolutely fantastic salespeople and are just amazing when it comes to, interacting with, people face to face and stuff like that. And there's a lot of folks out there that have made a tremendous, fantastic career in that retail space and have just really, it is right up their alley and they're just experts at it. And so they've been able to do well. Well, those jobs are going to be gone. And think about this too, guys. When you think about that, when we used to go out, and go to the mall and this and this, it wasn't just a shopping experience. It was also a social experience. I remember as a kid, you'd go down to the mall and, you'd sit around the food court, you meet up with your friends and all this kind of stuff. And it was a big time, kind of like social deal. And, that's all going as well. And look, all of our social interaction, a lot of it has transitioned, of course, to social media, being online. But that changes the dynamic, doesn't it? When you're not face to face, person to person with people. And it really is, we're seeing this societal change in a massive way. And of course, when you think about that, you're kind of evaporating borders as well. And now we're really talking about a global community. Look at this channel. We got folks interacting on this channel from literally around the globe. Almost every continent on earth has been represented in this channel. And this YouTube channel is a relatively small one in comparison to some of the major channels. And so when you think about these things, when you read these articles and you start peeling back the onion, well, what about this and what about that? And what about, like if this isn't there and that's not there and this is happening or that's happening, boy, you got to start to think, how is society really changing? How do we hold on to those values that we really, treasure, those traditional values, and how do we communicate them? Now, look, in this, environment that we're in right now, we are literally creating situations where you got folks that are borders aren't limiting them, like we were just saying there, and you're seeing community groups rise up in various things and various systems where borders are even transcendent. Now think of the metaverse when that becomes available and you start to see, you want to see online shopping where you're not doing, I think that's what we're probably going to end up transitioning to down the road. People will go shopping and it'll be online. Obviously, they're not going to be going to malls and big box stores that no longer exist, but they will probably be interacting in that capacity in the metaverse, where you're actually going to be able, with an avatar, to go out there, kind of like Ready Player One, and all these relationships being established. I think that it is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And guess what, guys? As you know, a lot of this online and digital transformation into this digital economy is built on what? Distributed ledger technology. You guessed it. Right, what we're involved with right now. And I'm telling you, down the road, think of the fundamentals. Too many people are focused on this day-to-day price action. Yeah, we all want to see the price go up. But where's the real value coming, guys? The real value is coming when we see this new digital economy literally as we transition into, we're just in the very pioneer space, but when it becomes like really, really hardcore and you see the societal change in a massive, massive way, those of us that had the foresight to absolutely get involved now, the benefits that I believe that we are going to reap are going to be absolutely astronomical. And I literally believe you're talking about the greatest wealth transfer in the history of mankind, and your grandchildren's grandchildren, should Jesus tarry, will be thanking you for it. I kid you not. It is going to be absolutely mesmerizing. Now, you just think about in this capacity, before the first industrial revolution and how the world really worked from a social level, to industry and all that kind of stuff, people really didn't fathom how those changes and those inventions were going to literally revolutionize the world. And it didn't just do it on an economic level, did it? It did it politically. Borders changed. Gone were a lot of these empires and all of this kind of stuff. In fact, look at all the legislation about child labor, and then the women's suffrage movement, and of course the emancipation, and the abolition of slavery and all of that came about. Guys, that all started with that first industrial revolution. It brought about tremendous, tremendous change. And the way in which we think about society and the societies we want to live in. Well, now, guys, here we are in this fourth industrial revolution, which I believe is going to be a major, major catalyst for tremendous societal change. Now, we want to have a voice in that. We want to have a seat at that table as it goes forward. And what kind of society is coming out? Do we want this kind of like a totalitarian, brave new world type society? Or do we want to have a society where people still can have that freedom of individual thought and the liberty of choice and all of that kind of stuff, rather than everybody being pushed into various molds? And guys, it seems like there's a big, massive tug of war going going on with respect to that. And that's where, you and I, as being the pioneers in this space, hey, we're not the trailblazers, who cut the initial trails like the very, very early days when Bitcoin was coming out, but we are most definitely the pioneers. And when that happens, after that come the settlers, after that come the merchants, after that come the institutions, and on and on and on. So it's just a matter of time, and I think it's going to happen a whole lot faster than most of us think. But hey, being the pioneers, look, we want to be able to kind of get out there and set the tone and not let all of this kind of like overreach and the abolition of individual kind of like perspectives and rights and all this kind of stuff be evaporated. We got to get out there and build what was really intended in this distributed ledger technology space, a real libertarian kind of ideals where you were reinforcing personal liberties and choices, not evaporating them and taking them away. At least, that's my estimation. And there you go, guys. All from one article on the closure of 50,000 stores and just how those one domino affects another, affects another, affects another, and the way society is changing. I'm telling you, it is going to be something else, and you're going to be thanking your lucky stars. You're going to be thanking the Lord for the blessing that he gave you to have the insight to kind of look a little bit further down the road and not get fudded out by all of this kind of stuff that's going on. You are going to be so, so blessed and so, so glad that you did, and not just you, but it can affect generations in your family. I genuinely believe it. Well, guys, I'll tell you what, I sure hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and until later on, when we have an amazing video for you, have a great one and take care.